Hello everyone, my name is Wong and I have been shooting portrait photography for over 20 years. So today I'm going to share with you a few tips and tricks that I have learned along the way. So this video is gonna be a little bit longer because I want to making sure that you're getting a lot of value from it, and hopefully it can greatly improve your portrait photography skill. Anyway, so just like the title said, this is a no BS, no filler, so let's jump right into it. Number 1, let's talk about lighting. Natural light is the easiest way to start learning lighting because you can instantly see the result. Especially now with digital cameras, you can see what the shot looks like right on the screen, right on the back of the camera. So you want the part that grab the most attention to be the brightest part of the photo. And in portraits, that's most likely it's gonna be their eyes or their face. I can do a video specifically on lighting in the future, but you can also check out my other YouTube videos to see how I do my 3-point lighting setup for most of my photo shoots. Okay, next up, number 2, we got camera settings or camera modes. This is for some reason a controversial choice of mine, but I think it's the best option. That's personally. I shoot 90% of my photos this way if I am doing like natural lighting kind of photo shoots. I use aperture priority mode, the one with the letter A on it. I have also auto ISO turned on. So what that means is that the camera will adjust the shutter speed based on the available light and choose the proper exposure for you. So your shot won't be overexposed or underexposed. Now with auto ISO turned on, your shutter speed will also go as slow as the speed that you set, or it will choose it for you, so you're not gonna get those camera shake. Now let's talk about number 3, composition. For portrait photography, I usually set the grid on the camera to 4x4 instead of 3x3. The reason is that because I'm most likely shooting vertical for my photos for portraits, and with that, now I can line up the person's eye with the top line to form a better composition of the photo. Here are some more examples of photos where you can see how I line up my shot where exactly my model's eyes are exactly on that line. Also, a quick shameless self-plug. If you enjoyed this video so far or feel like you have learned a few things, please consider subscribing to this channel. It really helps me out to make more content or at least enjoy doing more creative videos. But let's get to the next one. Number 4, we're gonna talk about lens selection. Of course, we can't do photography without a lens. And usually, you will want to use a prime lens for doing portraits. That's because they're usually, not always, they're usually sharper, but it really varies by camera brand and the lens specifically. So maybe do some research before you decide which lens to get. Another advantage of a prime lens is that they usually have a smaller f-stop. So meaning you can have more bokeh or have a better subject isolation. Simply speaking, you can make someone's face in focus and the background is completely blurred out. Like right now, this video is at f2. I'm pretty sharp, but the background is a little bit blurry. And you go for something like f1.2, the background will be even more, blurry. Focus length-wise, that's a really personal preference. I think the sweet spot for portrait is somewhere between 50mm to 135mm. So a lot of photos that you see that I shot recently are using the Nikon 85 f1.2. Which brings me to the next one. Number 5, experiment with nighttime photography. With what I just mentioned about using a small f-stop lens, you can create very pretty photos with city lights or fairy lights. The out of focus lights will form a little glowing circle that add another dimension to your photos. However, this is where gear do matter. Having a nicer camera, you will be able to get more details in your shots, because those cameras usually have better low light capability. And don't forget, one thing also helps us always is to shoot in RAW, the RAW format instead of JPEG, because you can recover more in your shots when you do exposure adjustment in post-processing. You should also scout your location during daytime so you can identify potential obstacle when you're shooting at night. You can also look out for interesting background or what are some available light source during nighttime. And you can also bring a small LED light with you like the Xeon CM25, a super powerful light but extremely small. Or if you don't want to buy a light, at least try to use the lights on your phone. Alright, number 6, balancing color in portraits. Explore color theory and how to create harmonious color palettes in your portraits. From clothing choices to background elements, you can also guide your subject on wardrobe choice, encouraging colors that complement each other and the overall mood that you want to convey in your portraits. You also want to pay attention to the color in your photo's background. You don't want to have the background to be too distracting, but it is okay to have some contrasting color so your subject would kind of pop in your photos. Now, let's talk a little bit about number 7, post-processing. I think post-processing is more important than your choice of camera. Whether you shoot with a Sony, a Canon, a Nikon, or whatever brand that you shoot out there. Knowing photo editing is putting the final touch to your photos. So it's super important. The most common software right now is Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom. Personally, I use Adobe Bridge, which does come with Photoshop. And Adobe photography plan is only like $20 a month, and I think there's like a $10 a month one too. Like, not really sure, haven't checked in a while, but it's pretty affordable. It's a lot more affordable than back in the days where you have to buy Photoshop for like $800 to $1,000, and they come out one like every other years, and it was a lot of money. But I know, if you haven't used Photoshop before, it could be intimidating. But you can always start off with just using Lightroom, which is included in that photography plan. And I also have my portraits presets available on my website, so please check out modernwongphoto.com to get those smart presets. Alright, so let's talk about the last tip in this video. It's about how to get better expression from your models. So number 8, connecting with your subject. It's very important to make your subject feel comfortable in front of the camera, especially if they're new to modeling. One of the best ways to connect with your subject is to talk with them and make lots of eye contact. With digital camera these days, that's going to make your life a lot easier because you can do most of your shoots by just using the back screen of your camera, putting a little bit below your face so your face not cover up. It will always be visible to the model. It is a lot easier to build genuine connection that way. And if you have eye autofocus in your camera, godsend, you don't ever have to worry about focusing. You just have to prioritize chatting with your subject, make them feel comfortable, and you can get some very good expression in your shot. Alright, that's it. Those are all the tips I got for you to take better portraits. And if you like this video or feel like you have learned something, again, please press the like button and leave a comment and also subscribe. I want to make a more in-depth video about, portrait photography if there's some interest in it. So please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.